Here's what we're talking about in our lineup today on the Now. Illinois will soon be the first state to require insurance companies to cover EpiPens for kids, where the cost stands now and how you can save. And as more businesses look to alternatives to plastic, we have perspective about the difference it's making from a company that did it years ago. And Kentucky is known for its bourbon, and now a new type of alcohol is getting attention and winning awards.
Thank you, Annie. Welcome to the Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. An urgent health warning tonight from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The government wants you to know not to drink a solution that has been touted as a treatment for numerous conditions, including autism and cancer. The USDA says there are serious and potentially life-threatening side effects of drinking Miracle Mineral Solution products after a recent rise in reported health issues. The products have been promoted on social media as a remedy for treating autism, cancer, HIV/AIDS, hepatitis, and flu, among other conditions. The Miracle Mineral Solution and similar products are not FDA approved because there is no evidence that it actually has any impact on those conditions. The agency says ingesting Miracle Mineral Solution is the same as drinking bleach. The specific products listed in the FDA's warnings are Miracle or Master Mineral Solution, Miracle Mineral Supplement, MMS Chlorine Dioxide Protocol, Water Purification Solution, and other similar products. The trial is underway for an Indianapolis truck driver accused of hitting a school bus near Madison, Wisconsin, hurting all 33 people on board. In court, witnesses testified that Wayne Murphy swerved on the interstate in May of 2018 before his truck slammed into a school bus parked on the highway shoulder. The crash hurt several children on that bus. No one was killed. Murphy is on trial for several charges, including causing great bodily harm through intoxicated driving. Investigators say Murphy had the prescription drug Xanax in his system at more than the therapeutic level. And an update to breaking news we brought you on the news at 5. No one thought to be seriously hurt after a carbon monoxide leak at Elmco Engineering in Beech Grove. The Beech Grove Fire Department says medics took at least 5 employees to the hospitals, but again, they are expected to be okay. This is happening at Elmco Engineering in Beech Grove on Churchman Bypass next to I-465. We have a crew on the way to the scene. Stay with RTV6 and the RTV6 app for updates. Kyle.
And it is a very nice Wednesday afternoon and evening across much of central Indiana, including right there on Monument Circle. You can see some of that sun coming right through the buildings there of downtown and the Circle City. But we do have a couple of isolated downpours out there for you. Our temperature close to 90 degrees in Indy. Fortunately, we've got a west breeze around 15 miles per hour, which is helping us out and stirring up that air just a little bit. It's 84 in Kokomo and 83 degrees for you in Bloomington. Storm Team 6 radar fairly quiet, but we've had a couple of passing showers here. One of those moving into Madison County between Elwood and LaPel. Looks like it will continue to move east here, just missing Alexandria and Anderson. We've got another shower just to the north of Ellettsville. All of these are sliding to the east and only producing some very light rainfall for us. So as we go through the next few hours, stray shower through 7 o'clock, otherwise partly cloudy skies. Those temperatures into the lower 70s by 11 o'clock. Annie.
It's become common to hear concerns about teens vaping and using e-cigarettes. And there are now nearly 24 cases of teenagers going to the hospital with similar lung problems. In Wisconsin, Illinois, and now Minnesota, there isn't a direct connection to vaping yet, but e-cigs are a common theme. In Minnesota, the health department went as far as to issue a warning. It said both nicotine and marijuana-based products were linked to 4 cases of teens going to hospitals with lung injuries. The symptoms seem like common respiratory infections, but they don't clear up. Both doctors and advocates against teen nicotine use are worried about the long-term effects.
This is exposure for a short period of time, relatively speaking, and really severe early injury that's worrisome.
It's like a habit. They're ingesting so much of it, and we've seen heard a couple of cases where it's called Nick sick, where students are just passing out in school.
Well, the lung damage was so severe in some cases, patients need a ventilator. A Florida teen is using his social media account to share the story of his collapsed lung and emergency surgery he said he needed because of vaping this month. He also says he had permanent scarring on his lungs. Now, the FDA recently issued a warning after it says some people using e-cigarettes were having seizures. The majority of those cases were children or young adults. All right, let's start the Now News feed. A transportation department agency is out with a proposal today that would relax federal rules that control how much time a truck driver can spend on the road. A group representing drivers says it's a good idea and it gives them more flexibility. There will be a public comment period before it's final. Now, we use a lot of prescription drugs in this country. The CDC says 1 in 5 adults use at least 5 RX meds. A new study says Americans are taking drugs primarily for depression, blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes. Well, Ford is extending the warranty for hundreds of thousands of cars, and there have been complaints that Fiestas and Focuses alert into gear. The extension applies to 560,000 vehicles. All right, back to our lineup. The EpiPen has seen years of price hikes. There's been some relief recently, but the life-saving device can still be expensive. And now one state is taking action to require insurance companies to cover the devices for kids. Ahead, we're looking at other ways you can save.
Ways to save and get smart.
We have more breaking news on the Now Indy. An active shooter has been reported in Philadelphia, seemingly targeting police officers. ABC News reports 4 Philadelphia police officers have been injured by at least one gunman. You can see some live pictures from a crew on the scene. Investigators say that gunman is still firing. The latest on ABC World News at 6:30. And welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. An Indiana native who became one of Hollywood's top silent movie actors will be honored with a historical marker in his hometown. The Indiana Historical Bureau recently approved the marker, which will be installed next year for John Bowersox in the DeKalb County city of Garrett. Bowersox was born and raised in the northeastern Indiana city. He enjoyed a successful stage career before starring in more than 90 Hollywood movies under the stage name John Bowers. Bowersox died in 1936. But in 1960, he received a motion picture star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his contributions to the film industry. Annie.
Illinois just became the first state to make access to the EpiPen law. The new legislation that takes effect next year requires insurance companies to cover the cost of the injections for children. The EpiPen is given when a person is having a severe allergic reaction. Now, the cost has been controversial after the makers of the original pen raised the price dramatically a few years ago. There are cheaper generic versions now, but this new law requires that insurance cover the total cost of epinephrine injectors regardless of how a person's individual plan is structured. The Asthma and Allergy Network hopes this will become a model legislation for other states.
So I do think that because this is the first time this has ever happened, it will be very interesting to see how the insurance providers respond to this.
Well, the rest of the country without insurance and on high deductible plans are still paying out of pocket for epinephrine, usually between $100 to $300. Prescription savings website GoodRx is one place where you can find pharmacy-specific discounts for the drug.
Another thing that we suggest in addition to using GoodRx is using a copay card. So Mylan, actually the manufacturer, also offers a copay card for both the brand and the generic. So with the brand, the copay card can save around $300, and with the generic, the copay card can save around $25.
Now, that's only for insured patients. GoodRx says there are spot shortages of the generic version because of the spike in demand with kids going back to school. But the good news is the Allergy and Asthma Network pushed to have EpiPens available in schools in almost every state now. All right, back to our lineup. People from all over visit Kentucky for the bourbon experience. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry there. But now a new type of alcohol is getting attention and winning a lot of awards. How the guy behind it is giving an old spirit a new twist. That's ahead on the Now.
RTV6 is working for you.
The bourbon business has been booming in Kentucky for more than a century. And now an old spirit with a new twist is trying to capture the American dream in the heart of bourbon country. Kai Beach has the story.
In Kentucky, bourbon is more than just big business. It's part of the culture, influencing everything from the arts to the economy.
We love it. We love the whiskey. That's why we came here. Whenever you taste bourbon.
This couple is two of the million-plus people expected to visit Kentucky this year, specifically for the bourbon experience. In Kentucky, bourbon production has increased 115% since 2009. and has grown to a multi-billion-dollar industry.
When people come to town and visit us, they don't come just to this location. They have to have a place to overnight accommodate, or they have to have a place to eat dinner or breakfast, or have another cocktail in the evening with their family.
Jeff Crow of Heaven Hill Distillery says this American-made barrel-aged spirit has created international interest and believes the bourbon boom will continue to grow.
And I think that explosion is nowhere near close to the final stages. So we're excited about the future.
But now there's a new player in the market getting attention for a new product.
This is Holy Gin.
Cartech Kamat is making gin out of Kentucky-grown corn, mixing the flavors of his Indian heritage with his American upbringing to make Holy Gin right in the middle of bourbon country.
I wanted to solve something in the distilled spirits industry, and I didn't see that I had a solution here.
Since it hit the market in September, Holy Gin has been well received, medaling at competitions and now available on the shelves at some of the biggest spirit stores in the country. Kamat says Holy Gin is the embodiment of an immigrant living the American dream and perhaps putting Kentucky on the map for something more than bourbon. I'm Kai Beach reporting.
Super interesting. Thanks, Kai. Well, let's start the Now News feed. Macy's knows more shoppers are looking for bargains. The department store started a pilot program this month testing out clothing subscriptions and resale. Macy's is partnering with ThredUp, which bills itself as online's largest thrift store. First class has a lot of perks. British Airways is going next level, though. It's adding virtual reality. Passengers can use VR headsets to watch movies in both 3D or 360-degree formats. It's testing its first class on London to New York flights. Anyone who knows anyone who went to Ohio State knows they like to be known as the Ohio State University. And now the school is trying to make it theirs legally. Ohio State filed a trademark request with the federal government for the word "the" last week. Now the school would use it for apparel like t-shirts and hats.
Another check-in on breaking news. 5 employees of Elmco Engineering in Beech Grove sent to a hospital due to a carbon monoxide leak. Now, this is a live look at the scene as an investigation is underway into the cause of this leak. We are learning that those 5 employees sent to the hospital are expected to be okay. Again, this is at Elmco Engineering in Beech Grove. You can see an ambulance is still on scene, as well as some fire trucks. We will keep you updated here on RTV6 and on the RTV6 app. If you don't want to use a concert ticket, you can resell it. Then why is it so hard to try to sell an unwanted airline ticket? Working for you, John Matarese shows us the real reason airlines will stop that ticket transfer so you don't waste your money.
Did you ever buy an airline ticket, then discover that you couldn't go on the trip? At that point, you may have wondered if you could transfer it to a relative, or better yet, sell it to someone who wants it. But you can't. Wouldn't it be great if you could sell a plane ticket for a profit if your plans change? You can do that with concert or Broadway tickets on sites like StubHub. But don't look for secondhand plane tickets. Airfare Watchdog says no major airline will allow that. Secondhand tickets would allow people to buy really cheap seats on half-empty flights. But it would also allow sellers to drive prices into the stratosphere on sold-out flights, just like a sold-out Rolling Stones concert. But from the Doesn't That Stink file, the fact you can't just transfer a ticket to your daughter or Aunt Mildred. You see, airlines require you to change your flight, usually for a $200 penalty. And that'll have you saying, "Doesn't that stink?" But Airfare Watchdog says the rules keep ticketing fair. Otherwise, you'd have to compete with scalpers bots buying all the seats the minute they were released. Sound familiar? Well, it's frustrating you can't sell your unwanted ticket. You'd be furious if scalpers snapped up all the cheap seats. It's good they can't do that, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
All right, thank you, John. Well, as we go through the next few hours here, temperatures will cool back a little bit, and tomorrow will be quite a bit cooler. Right now, though, 89 degrees in downtown. At least the humidity has dropped temporarily. It's down to 38% thanks to that west breeze around 15 miles per hour. Storm Team 6 radar, it's fairly quiet, but we do have a couple of isolated showers out there. One that's moving through Madison County right now between Alexandria and Anderson. Again, these are going to produce some brief rainfall as they slide side east, that's really about it along I-69 here north of Bloomington in northern Monroe County. 64 the overnight temperatures. We'll have partly cloudy skies and some of that fog developing once again. So factor that into your morning and factor this in throughout the day. Temperatures that will be in the middle 70s for your lunch hour, upper 70s to around 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Still a little bit on the muggy side, but not too bad out there. Here's a look at TrueCast, and we will have partly sunny skies. I think it is a dry Thursday for us, though, even though you see a few very light green returns. Those temperatures 79 for you tomorrow afternoon in Hendricks County and Danville, 81 going to be your afternoon high in Muncie as well as Rushville. Over the next few days of your forecast here, things are going to heat up for the weekend. Highs approaching 90 with a 30% chance for showers and storms. Annie?
About 38% of U.S. adults are considered obese and are at risk of developing conditions like heart disease. The World Health Organization listed physical inactivity and unhealthy diets as major risk factors to diabetes, cancer, and heart disease in its Global Threats report this year. But obesity is more complex than just calories and exercise. But as Chris Stewart shows us, those who know the disease best are working to change the perception of possible solutions.
I'm going to share my story, my journey, as I live it, with whoever will listen.
Janine Sherman's first thinking on weight loss surgery was similar to a common perception.
It's the easy way out, the easy way out. That's what you hear the most.
A last resort.
And I thought, really? Bariatric surgery? Am I to that point?
At 5'5", around 230 pounds, Sherman's primary doctor told her that she was a candidate when she asked about weight loss medication. At the time, Janine had a very high BMI, but no other weight-related health issues. For 3 years, she researched thinking she could avoid surgery.
If I copied this lifestyle, if I tried to live the lifestyle of a bariatric patient, and I learned from being in these groups their daily eating habits, their exercise habits, well, then I can maybe lose the weight and not have bariatric surgery.
After gaining 30 more pounds, Sherman decided surgery was best.
I can tell anybody that I talk to that that day is one of the top 10 days of my life.
Maintaining her weight now at around 143 pounds, Sherman found her voice through the hashtag I'm a bariatric patient.
Many patients were ashamed to talk about the surgery and didn't want to share that they had surgery with friends or family.
If you stigmatize someone because of their weight, they're going to gain weight. They're not going to lose it.
The Obesity Action Coalition tries to break the stigma with support.
One way to deal with stigma is actually to share the experiences that you faced and try to take away that self-blame.
The group's president says they created a place online called Weight of the World. People share their experiences of living with obesity.
I believe sharing my story really helped me.
There has been progress in breaking stigma since obesity was recognized as a disease.
And we've seen a lot of companies now starting to invest in whether it's behavioral, medical, or surgical treatments for obesity.
The FDA approved a new weight loss device for obesity this year, and United Healthcare was first to drop what doctors called an unnecessary requirement of bariatric surgery, 6 months on a medically supervised weight loss program. But until access and perception improve, even more people like Sherman need to be heard.
We can make a difference for those patients when it comes to stigma 5-10 years from now.
I'm Chris Stewart reporting.
Thanks, Chris. Well, your doctor could soon take a bigger role in helping address the opioid epidemic. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force says all adults should be screened for illegal drugs. The group says that it could help identify people dealing with an addiction. Right now, this is just a recommendation, but the group is taking public comment through September 9th. All right, back to the Now newsfeed. Walmart making changes after recent mass shootings. The company removed about 1,000 third-party items from its website. Walmart banned items it feels glorify violence. United Airlines is putting in alcohol rules for its pilots. Pilots can't drink 12 hours before going to work. This month, 2 United pilots were arrested, accused of being drunk in Scotland before a flight to New Jersey that had to be canceled. Well, a possible breakthrough in identifying what causes early-stage ovarian cancer. Dana-Farber scientists identified 34 genes associated with increased risks. There's no current screening test for ovarian cancer, but it's often detected in later stages. And back to our lineup. This week, water brand Dasani became the latest company to say it's switching away from plastic. It's now a growing trend. But coming up, we're talking with a business that was on the forefront of this years ago. The difference, it says, this is making.